Sorry to interrupt you there, Anshul, but the hearing has concluded for the day. We're given to understand that so far there is no indication from the Supreme Court whether or not bail would be granted to Arvind Kejriwal. There is no indication whether that order would be passed today or not. For now, the two judges have concluded the hearing, which means the arguments from both sides, both from Arvind Kejriwal's counsel and from the Enforcement Directorate's team, have now concluded. The arguments have been made. But what exactly the court decides so far, there is no indication on that, even though the hearing has concluded. Whether it's been deferred to another day, whether there is an order that would be expected later in the evening, that's something that we're still trying to ascertain. Ananya, my colleague who is in the Supreme Court, is trying to get us that fine print, trying to get us those details of what exactly transpired after the arguments concluded from both sides. Anshul, how do we read this as far as the hearing goes? Ananya, of course, will be joining us and decoding that for us. But so far, there is no indication as to which way this is headed.
So yes, the hearing is over at this point in time. Now the judges will look at the schedule and try to find that time to write this entire order, because as we have been discussing, that each and every word of this order is going to be very, very critical, because this entire order can be seen as a precedent in the future cases, and that is the reason why the Supreme Court will take its own time before presenting these orders. So once the schedule of the judges are clear, if at all they have the requisite amount of time to write this order today itself, because remember, after 5 p.m. the courts gets closed. So before that, if at all they have the time to write this order and then announce this order, then it could happen today. If at all the judges, the schedule is busy and they are not able to write this order before 5 p.m, then probably this entire judgment could come in the future, where the judges could finally decide a date and time where they would decide to go ahead and give this order. So there is no clarity at this point in time as to when will the order be released. And as I mentioned, even if the order comes in the favor of the Delhi Chief Minister, then also it is going to take somewhere around 7 to 8 hours from the Chief Minister to walk out of the jail and then eventually join the Aam Aadmi Party cadre in campaigning for the party. So definitely it still seems like a long haul, but definitely a glimmer of hope for the Aam Aadmi Party. Now we are awaiting for that judgment to come to the fore. Once that judgment comes to the fore, be it today or in the near future, everything will be crystal clear in black and white, and people like Hemant Soren and K. Kavita would also be hooked on to this entire hearing and will be eagerly waiting for this judgment, because whatever the judgment comes, that could actually help them in putting forth their cases as well.
Arunima, no indications on whether any order would be passed today or not, even though the hearing has concluded. How do we decode that?
Yes, if it is a recent order from the Supreme Court, because, the ED also cited a lot of other cases. So usually when past cases are cited, the judges give a recent order, and for that it requires time. It's not like a single line.
We'll try and reconnect that line with Arunima, who was getting us details. But what we're now learning is that so far, there's nothing on the interim bail plea. Perhaps it is something that could come up 2 days later on Thursday. That's something that the Enforcement Directorate has now sought. The hearing has concluded. There is no order, a definitive one at that. Whether or not Arvind Kejriwal can be granted bail or not, that's still being determined, is what we're given to understand. Whether that happens today, whether that happens on Thursday as the ED has sought, that's something that we will have to wait and watch out for.